Hey everyone. If you don't already know, I am Eva Schmidt's sister. And yes, I do have a little bit of her dorkiness. I did grow up following her footsteps in a lot of ways. But today we're going to talk all about serving. And I would love for us to leave the Zoom at the end in about 45 minutes, knowing what serving means, like tangibly, like it not just be a vague term or not just be the usual. And it is good, but we will often say serving is adding value to others. But I'd love for us to leave knowing what that means, literally means for us and how we show up serving to our teams, to our Plexus business, to the people around us, and leave knowing how we want to grow to do more of it. And also what it isn't. So I like one of John Maxwell's, and I don't even know where I got it from, but I'd written it down and then later didn't find the quote, the exact quote, but he says, serving is using who you are and what you have to elevate the people you lead. So I would love to hear from you guys before we go into any of the other questions. What does serving as a leader mean to you? What is it or what is it not? Either way.
I think
I
serving it, sorry,
Go ahead, Christina.
sorry. I think
Go for
we can rock, paper, scissors. I think serving is helping somebody get what they want in a way that feels like they want to feel while getting it. I think what it is not is manipulating somebody to do what you want them to do so that you can get what you want to get.
So I actually taught Christina everything she just said, and now she said it first, so she gets all the credit for it, and now everybody thinks I'm stupid because I don't have anything smart to say. Generally, how we roll on everything.
Us type threes just be like that. She really did
But
teach me everything I know. And listen, it came from a do it wrong to learn how to do it right. So I have been on both sides of that serve thing.
yeah, I'm totally picking at Christina. I love that answer. I was just gonna say, I think it is serving, I think simply put, is exactly what you said, just helping somebody reach their goals. But I didn't think about what you said about in a way that feels authentic to them. But that was also good.
Well, I had to learn that because for a long time, I'm telling you, so many times I would call Brittany and be like, I don't understand why they're just not doing what I'm telling them to do. They like come to me and they want to grow a business and I'm telling them what to do and they just won't listen. And she'd be like, what are you telling him? And so I would tell her exactly what I would do if it were me. If it were me that wanted what they said they were wanting, she'd be like, but they're not you. And I'd be like, okay, what does that matter? And so just learning how to learn your people and speak their language because it is not that I don't think people have to do uncomfortable things. They do have to do uncomfortable things, but you can get an overall feel for, okay, this is your goal. Got it. How do you want to feel on the way to achieving that goal? And then what can I do as a leader to come in and support the necessary action while also not disregarding how they want to feel in the process? So she did teach me everything I know. That is true.
That's good. And very clear, like getting clear on what their goal is and what and how you can help them reach that. That's very good.
Well,
So,
otherwise they're going to feel like you're just bossing them around. Like you're giving them assignments, you're giving them homework, you're giving them tasks, you're giving them this. Folks don't want that.
yeah.
Figure out what they want. And then, I mean, sometimes it's just a matter of saying, how do you think you can get it? Okay, sounds like a good goal. What do you think you need to do? And letting it come from their mouth.
And I think that all of those things build trust, and you can't serve well if they don't trust you.
How frustrating is it to want to lead your team and give them a lot of stuff, a lot of motivation, things to do, and nobody's really grabbing onto it, and you're not clear on what it is they want or need or what their goal is.
Well,
Mhm.
I think a good clarifying is giving them things to do versus pulling things out. Like one of the things I read is like my job as a leader is to pull the gold out of people. And I love what you said. Christina, about how they want to feel. And the flip, another side of that coin is speaking and communicating in a way that they can hear. Because, like we did this whole thing on personalities at our Gold Getaway, and learning to understand where they're coming from and communicate in a way that your people can hear is critical, because you may be speaking English, but they speak Russian. You know what I mean? Like, you have to connect with their heart motivation, not which also, and the way that they can receive things. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I think too that maybe it's more just my personality, but anybody here who is, if you know the colors, maybe more yellow or more just on the help, always helping other people. Um, and not maybe not necessarily bringing the energy or the big stuff, but just always behind the scenes helping, that the word serving is very appealing. So when I first started Plexus, one of the first books I read was Failing Forward. So I got introduced to John Maxwell right away. And on the idea of his, not of his, but what he talks about a lot, we rise by lifting others. Immediately that caught my attention. I can do that. I can lift other people. And I was at a place in my life where I didn't do anything for myself. Even when I started Plexus, it was for other people. And it's not that that's the wrong way to start. Probably a lot of people might start like that. You might want to be able to do more for other people or do more for your family. I wanted to give more to the children's home I had worked at, and I completely ignored my own physical health, many things about myself, because here I could find purpose in helping other people while still ignoring what, like, my own self, if that makes sense. And in the process of building with Plexus, I did do a lot of uncomfortable things, and I did grow and shift a lot of my mindset. And it was a slow process of learning that serving is also having my own goal for myself and showing it to people. Like, serving is about other people, but having our own goal, and like when anytime somebody shows them working out or what they're doing healthier for food or any of their process in Plexus in health or business, it's inspiring to other people. Even if it was their own goal and it had to do with nobody else, it inspired me, helps me be more brave, helps me have more courage. And so that was a big shift for me around Ruby, was learning that I can also make my own goals and do things for me that raise me up and show my team how I'm doing it. And that in turn also serves them. So if anybody on here, even if it's just one person who's a little like me and can easily just self abandon with the purpose of only focusing on other people, um, I think learning to lead gets you really uncomfortable and makes you begin to recognize that you actually have to lead yourself first. I think that's what I was getting at. The first question he has in this chapter is, what can I do for people to help them succeed? So let's talk about that. Any personal examples on how you do that? How you help people succeed? How do you help your new ambassadors? How do you help them with their obstacles? What are some examples you have of how you serve others with their goals?
I think a lot of times at first it's helping them know what to say and helping them believe that they can succeed. That's generally what it looks like at first, and then it might involve helping them talk to their prospects. Um, but as a leader, I think you help them by um, helping them believe the right things and then help them get the results that they want. And there's a lot of different ways you could do that. Like I already mentioned a few.
Those would be my first two. And then placing them in an environment that is enjoyable and uplifting, belief building, that they want to be in and be around people that are speaking life over them. Strategically placing them in places like that so they don't feel alone. Community, yeah.
I think it's holding their hand in baby steps. That's what I'm realizing right now is how to lead them to show the success or that they can see fast success is like taking everything baby steps one at a time, having them show you everything so that they don't feel like they're alone in this process either, that they don't have to know it all.
For me personally, I've had a lot like they come up with the I don't want to be salesy. So guess it goes with teaching them what to say. So I feel like if I can cross that hurdle in the beginning, it's just like we're not selling, we're sharing what works. Like just that small mindset. Like they want the things, but they don't want to be salesy. So I feel like if they have the confidence in the products just to kind of get that done and over with, like you're not selling, you are sharing what works. And that kind of seems to always teeter to the side where they actually go and make their posts.
That's really good. And also shifting that in people's minds of what sales is, and to also be proud that you are in an industry where you are offering really good products and you do sell them, right? You're making money off of people buying them from you. The book study we did, and you were there, Susie, right? The book study, The Go Giver Sells More. So
Hmm.
good. So good on about selling and serving. And I
Yes.
think we all like were a lot more proud about what we were doing after we did that book study.
And yeah, the confidence behind it too, because yeah, you want to be genuine and you want to be passionate about what you're sharing, which yeah, you do sell, but you don't come across as or like you would teach them not to be like, hey, I sell this. Would you want to try it? Like just and that's what most of mine, they have that idea, like that's what it is. It's just like, no, like just share stories, like what people can relate to, and then it comes across as sharing something that really you love and has worked.
Yeah.
Two things I've seen with my two latest business builders, just a silver and somebody who's this close to senior silver, is something Brittany shared, connecting them. I think, no, it was Sarah, I think, Sarah Marie, connecting them with the right people. For me, it was connecting them together. And then the second thing is, and we shared this on our team call today, and I personally had to be reminded of this. When the moment you wake up in the morning, you're either starting your day out of fear or out of love. And anytime we're reaching out to people or posting or stories, you're either in a place of fear or of love. And so for my newest ambassador, that's what really blessed her today. She was like, that changes everything. I love these people. I'm going to step out of my comfort zone. So that was helpful to me today.
Yeah, so good.
Also something that Christina said when she said, and I know she got it from Brittany, um, knowing your people. Like, I think that's an important thing. And sometimes we can observe traits in other people that we think are really, really positive and wonderful and lend themselves really well to this business. And I think that's another part of inspiration and serving them is calling out those traits and reinforcing those traits in them and putting them in places where they can use those traits to succeed and grow and develop them.
Ask good questions of your people when they're brand new or even before they sign up. Ask good questions that help you figure out who they are, what they need, how they learn best, how they like to communicate. It'll help you so much. Like knowing what they're motivated by. So next question, and I think it's the fourth one in the chapter. Um, how will I know that I am serving people well? So if we know what serving is and how to do it, how does it actually show up? Like how can you tell if you are serving your team well?
They stick around.
And they're also vulnerable with you.
Ooh, well, the obvious one like they're booming. They're like we want them to be growing and their points are going and all of that. But it is so many little things too. Like just watching their confidence grow. Suddenly they're brave and they can do things that they didn't think they could do before. I think that is a big one.
Yep. Like even them becoming more independent over time, leading their people, like just that duplication.
I was gonna say self-growth for sure.
Yeah, I love what you said about the confidence part because I feel like with my new person now, she's actually a former student of mine and she's always had that confidence, right? But she's never had this confidence that she could do this for her family. And I mean, I've been prospecting her for a couple of years now, and it's finally like she's like, thank you so much for A, never giving up on me, and B, helping her see those small wins right away. And I think that's the hand holding and that's the building confidence with them. I think it's also setting up realistic expectations so that they know when they're hitting something hard. If you build that trust, they can come back to you too. So it's kind of like a two-hand fold if it goes well. Yes, I'm leading. I'm doing the things that you told me to do. I'm my 52 pages of notes of Gold Getaway. I'm reading them and applying for once.
That was so good. All right. I think you guys answered that so well. If I knew how to facilitate a Zoom and take notes at the same time, I would have like notes on that right there.
Can I
But
add one more thing to that?
it's
I think with that too is I was doing a lot of the whole sharing part, like, oh, this is just sharing. And I think, especially with my two new people that I got in November, and or two out of the three, and pretty much setting it up that it is a selling part, but you're selling with service, and it can be okay to have all of that at the same time and do it in an authentic way that means something to you. And then them seeing this success, like that's how I know that I'm actually leading them. Like they're leaving like feeling confident, but knowing that it's okay to sell. And it's okay that not everybody may be on this at, be right now, but helping them, I think, walk through that process too. Because if you help them think bigger than just sharing and they see the results, then they stick around a lot longer.
I just also want to add to that oftentimes if we're always discerning how well we're serving based on how people grow or respond, we can lose a lot of confidence too in just what we're doing. So back to what Sarah was saying, that we really have to start by leading us. So a lot of the value that we give, yes, it does show up in other people, but there's going to be a lot of people that it doesn't necessarily show up in. And those people, they're just going to watch us grow. And so basically what I'm saying is, how much are we growing is one way that you can tell how much value you're adding, is by watching if you're growing. Because by definition, when you grow, you will be adding value to other people.
yeah. I think that's a really good sign of a leader is when you have that perspective shift. That growing yourself is also serving people. Good. So his next question, or one of his other questions, but the next one I have is, what do I do best that allows me to serve people best? So, in other words, what are your unique strengths, leadership skills, leadership strengths that ways you serve people best?
I serve people best by connecting with their emotions and really just drawing out the deep, meaningful parts of their inner self. That is not true. I serve people best by generally getting them to do something more than they would have done otherwise, getting people into action, getting them to take massive action, energy, stuff like that. And then also the deep heart work for sure.
I was like, ooh, I didn't know this. New info. So good.
We have to watch the recording for specific reactions in people's faces for that one.
And humor. I serve by also bringing some humor. That's also what I have going.
She says it was such a straight face.
Look, I'm her level one, and I also struggle with the emotions. And when Ashley said this, I immediately looked up and immediately looked for Brittany. Like, am I the only one shocked right now? I'm like, well, hold on. She leads very well, but I was shocked to hear those words come out with a straight face.
Okay, and I was over here like, yeah, she pulls out all of my deep thoughts. I was like, she does that so well. And then you guys are like, no. And I'm like, yes, that's her.
I'm
Who
sorry,
else? What are,
Sarah. You'll have to repeat the question. I'm very sorry.
what are your strengths? What are your gifts in leading your team and serving? Some people are very good at gathering people. Some people are really good at bringing the energy and the hype and the excitement. Some people are really good at communicating what we have, like product information. What are your gifts?
I'm good at giving people smart things to say so that people can think that they're smart. I'm totally kidding. Um, no, Christina is very smart, y'all. If you're new here, just know I was kidding about the whole thing. She she does say really smart things, and they're not all from me. I it's funny that I'm even saying that because when I first started, I got one of Amber Miller's videos where she did a product presentation, and I literally hand wrote the whole thing out. It was like 20 minutes long. Probably took me several hours to handwrite the whole thing out word for word, and I memorized the entire thing and went and executed it on my own presentation. Then everybody thought I was smart, but I didn't come up with any of that either. So I would say what I do well as a leader is I can help people believe in themselves more. I can I'm passionate about what we're doing here, and I think that my enthusiasm can be contagious, and I can expand people's vision, and then I'm going to challenge them to strive for excellence in whatever area of their life in a way that comes across as love. Like they know that I want what's best for them. Um and then I think I'm probably strong in communication.
You went over the strength limit.
You didn't leave any for the rest of
I
us.
didn't say that humility was one of my I didn't say that.
I'm pretty good at gathering people, casting vision, and helping people when they're like scattered all over the place. So like telling them this like one thing you should focus on, simplifying the thing.
I think I'm good at the products, obviously, because I love the products and talking about them. I think I'm good at spotting talent and calling it out. I think I'm good at casting vision. I think I'm really good at the logical side of this business and looking at the logic and sharing that. I think I'm good at seeing possibility. I'm actually really good at seeing possibility. So I'm good at like talking over the people I'm working with, their prospects, and kind of catching where the possibility is and trying to gather that up and make that happen.
And belief, Laura, you're very high in belief.
Yeah.
Transferring.
Because I'm logical. So I'm actually so logical.
You're good at all the. I think it's very interesting how this question, like the people speaking up first, are top earners in the company, and so I think that that should send a message. It should communicate that you need to know what your strengths are and own them. Like it's not prideful to say out loud, "This is what I'm good at," because God has given every single one of us strengths and talents and abilities, and I don't have everything that Lori's good at or Christina's good at or Eva's good at, but we all do have unique areas of strength. And I think if you are sitting there feeling like, well, I don't really know what I'm good at, I think you probably need to grow in self-awareness. It's really, really important for you to know what you're good at. And I think oftentimes you will discover what you're good at by taking a lot of action on things that at first you might not feel like you're good at. You discover your gifts through taking a lot of uncomfortable action.
I think it's also not humility to not be willing to look at what you're good at, because if you are good at something, God made you that way. Like those are gifts and talents that are not meant to be buried. They're meant to be identified and developed. And we are doing a call about serving. And when you develop those talents within yourself, that's how you best are going to serve other people. And we talk a lot about like, don't compare. And part of the way you know how to not compare is by honoring and valuing and recognizing the way that you were created and the strengths that you should be sharing with others.
I also want to add that we also don't try to be good at everything. We know what we're not good at, and we are looking for people who are good at those things. We're not trying to be good at everything. Yes, I'm gonna mute.
One of my favorite things I would say about Plexus is that we can all see each other's gifts and grow in our own gifts and talents and then all work together. I don't have to be like Eva. She doesn't have to be like me. You don't all have to know all the numbers and all the details of your back office because someone on your team does, and you can do it together. And that was very new to me. And I think back to when I was new in Plexus, that people would come up
Nope, in 30 minutes, I'll tell you when.
very new to me, or just in each other. Someone like, oh, you're very good at this. And I feel like, what does she want? What does she want from me? Why is she being nice? I don't think it's normal around us in the world in general to just acknowledge each other's gifts, to say them out loud, to be growing in them, and to even just tell people what your gifts are. I don't think that's normal. That's one of my favorite things in Plexus.
Agreed. Okay, I'm going to jump in. I'm trying to jump in. Lori, I have a question for you because you listed a lot of your strengths and you caught me because you differentiated casting vision, and then you said seeing possibilities for people. How are you differentiating seeing possibilities and casting vision? Because you said you're able to jump over things. Can you flesh that out for me?
Yes, because casting vision, you have to be a good listener in order to cast vision, but you have to be I think an even better listener in order to see possibility. And so when we work with our people and we hear about maybe the new people they've signed up, seeing possibility is seeing the possibility that they don't see in the person that they just signed up. Like we know that some people are a door and some people are a doorway, and recognizing the possibility. Like for example, I went to an event that one of my, I think level 2s held at a relative's house. And the relative had said that she was not interested in doing the business. But when I was there, I could just see so much possibility with that person and how they would like this. Maybe they didn't need the income, but they were a very blue personality. And I could just see them thriving in the culture and the social situation. And so part of seeing possibility is saying, I think from what I observed from her, you should share this opportunity with her based on this. And that's part of spotting possibility. It's kind of just seeing the potential, observing the person. It's a strength of an introvert because we are more quiet, so we observe more and kind of take in a whole lot. And I know there's treasure on the other side of everybody. And part of my job is getting into those possibility situations with them. So I don't know if that makes sense. Does that answer you?
Yeah, it absolutely does, especially because I was so dialed into what you're saying because I'm very strong in vision and encouragement for people and infusing them with hope. So when you said like you differentiated possibilities and vision, that definitely caught me. Um, it totally does because it's very nuanced. It's very nuanced and looking for what is their pain point or the flip side of that, what is their motivation? How does this really fit with that person? So I part of it is I've always been a visionary. I've always been a visionary, but because of this business and through Brittany, I've learned to pay attention to details and look for those nuances because I'm not an introvert and I'm not a detail person, but I'm learning how to spot those things and to dial into those to really speak in a way that the person can hear and paint the picture of what they want and that it is possible.
That's very good. If we're always kind of stalling when somebody wants the business or they want to make an income and we show them how, we feel like we show them all the best stuff and we're very excited, but then they don't do the thing, that's like, be aware of that. Be aware of, do you know what they're motivated by? Take a little more time listening to them and asking them those good questions to find what those pain points are. Because if you don't call those out while showing them how to build this, then they're not gonna see why. That's cool, but why? Why should I do it? Even though they started off because they had a pain point, but if you don't keep bringing it back in, you feel like you're dragging people. What's an example of a leader you have seen serving others well? And if they're on here or someone on your team, you can shout them out.
I want to shout out Brittany and Christina because they create all this fabulous content. And part of them serving other people is they willingly share it. So that's a good example for me.
I shout out Sarah for sharing all the information as soon as it's posted and graphics and keeping it all organized for us so we know what's happening and when and where and how to find it.
Ooh, thank you. That's just me avoiding a lot of questions. If I lay it out clear, here's the details. Everybody just takes it and runs with it. That's just me. For
It's
myself.
called leading. Works for us.
Thank you.
I'm going to shout out Eva because she has been what I want to be for lifting others up. Like she pours belief into you in so many different ways, and she pushes you to do things that you think you're not ready for because she sees that you are. And so, thank you, Eva.
So I want to shout out Hannah Wolf really quickly because, so I would say probably like 8 months ago, we've all been in this situation where you might have butt heads or whatever. But since that moment, Hannah like showed up and served me and made me become a better person all the way around and helped build belief in myself. and to help me build confidence, even though I did all the work, but she was there like serving me through the steps. And I'm just so grateful for her. So I just want to give her a shout out.
I also would have to shout out Sarah, like her calm, collective self. Like when you feel you're panicking, you're like, what do I do? Like there's no way I can do this. Like this is no one's ever done this. And you talk to her and she's like, well, what about this? Or how about this point? And it's just always calm and like, yeah, belief and just a listener. Like if you need someone to listen, it's definitely Sarah. Like it's just she brings calm to everything and it just goes amazing. Just listening and it's not that bad. It's not scary. It's she's calm and collected and how about this? And everything's better.
Thank you, Susie. And I need people like you. I need the energy and I need the fun because if we're all calm, then it gets a little boring.
Well, I want to shout out BK, Bridget, because she will respond to my stories or just send me a message and just shares belief, encouragement. She'll be like, I'm praying for you, things like that. And I'm not on her team at all, but she just does it because that's who she is and she's amazing.
I'm gonna shout Lori right back. Lori is like a retention queen on my team. She has one of the highest retention rates because she cares so much for people. She's never scared of objections. She goes towards objections with curiosity and asks questions. She's not scared of losing people, but she wants to know like what it is yeah, she's just really good at getting that out of people. And I just adore that about her. And she's also one of those ideal, perfect team runners that like you give them a challenge and they're like scared, but they do it anyway. Very coachable.
I mean, to be honest, when I think of leaders, I don't know if I can pick one because I feel like all of the Jules on Freedom Team, like I could literally just go down the line and not even Jules. I think just our team as a whole, and it really shows just especially at Gold Getaway, like everything was like pinpoint, like those jewels set it up for success for us. Like there was not a thing missing. I think you had leaders showing up in their strengths, whether it was accommodating, whether it was food, whether it was the presentations, whether it was the even to the booklet. And I think just all of them are not afraid to be in the trenches with us. So when I look to a leader, I'm going to follow them because they're doing the same work that they're telling me to do. Um, and then they're also willing to pray for you. Like I feel like I've had some really rough moments and I can name, I feel like maybe I'm not 100, but I feel like 100 people of like people that I could say I really look up to because of just how much that they care much in you. And obviously I got to shout out Abby. Like I love her. She's my leader. She didn't have to take me in. She took me in. I'm her level 2, but she showed up from day 1 like I'm her level 1. And so I mean without her and her belief in me, I wouldn't even be here. So that's a whole hard fact.
That is so sweet, Sarah Marie. You always just keep such a positive attitude. It's impressive. And I agree with that. I was just thinking about the leaders on our team and how I really do believe that each one of them tries to the best of their ability to know what value that they can bring, like what their unique highest point of contribution would be, and really go all in on serving in that way. Whether it's training or doing an event or making graphics or creating content for the team page like Emily does, or um, casting vision for everybody like Michelle. Like there's so many jobs that or like Terry is a lot like behind the scenes and she doesn't really like to be out front in front of people, but she's gonna break her back to just make sure things are taken care of. Like, and she doesn't expect credit. So many of the leaders who serve, it's behind the scenes. They're not like out in your face kind of people, but they do a lot without expecting credit. It's like truly selfless, and they do it because they really love the team. And it's like the highest form of humility when you will serve and not really expect credit or recognition or whatever. But I do see a lot of our leaders doing that.
On to piggyback off of Sarah and Brittany, like I've never been on any other team, so this is all I have to go off of. So like I don't know what's normal for every other team, but as I learned and listened to these other calls, I learned how special what we had really was. But you didn't know when I came in, like I didn't know who was a jewel and who wasn't until they would have like a jewel call because they are saying, hey, she's a senior silver and she's good at this, give her a book study. Hey, she's good at this, give her a role. And they would just push people in their strengths. And I remember having no clue that a senior silver wasn't a jewel or that a ruby wasn't a jewel or what have you, because everyone worked together, like Brittany was saying. And it instills that in you on your team. Like from the second somebody says they're ready to go, if they're questioning, I'm like, you're really good at social media. You're really good at photography. And the girls that are on my team automatically, I noticed that this week, they called that out in each other when they weren't on the phone. Like I did two separate coaching calls. Both of them called out somebody else about a strength that they had noticed because it's just how Freedom Team like builds people up to notice that and use it.
Love, love that. I'm in awe of the women, the kind of women, the growth that we can just be surrounded with right here. So grateful.
Yeah, I was gonna add to what Jessa said too, because I've been on other teams and other companies, and it was more like do as I say, not as I do. I found the path. Everybody just has to do my path and the way that I found. And I mean, we've said it ad nauseum at this point tonight, like they find your strengths. And they find your weaknesses too. But they don't exploit them. Like that's the biggest thing. Like they help you work through them. So you're not just building a business, you're building yourself. And like you end up finding so much more of your self-worth that you didn't know you had, thought you had. Like so many times, like you think that you're trying to express a point or you've said something to somebody and they give you a different way of looking at it, but not tell you were wrong, you need to do it this way, what were you thinking and everything else. It's like, hey, how about next time we do this? And what did you like reading that back to yourself? How did that feel? Like I'm 48 years old and I'm growing more in myself and in my outlook and listening. Like I'm not a good listener. I'm a type A. I'm an extrovert. I'm a jump into the conversation person. And I love and hate that about myself. It makes me a good fitness instructor. It does not make me a good listener, you know? So but those are things that I'm actively working on. And I don't feel like I'm berated and put down when it's pointed out, you know, and that makes a huge difference.
Love that. All of your feedback is reminding me of different people. And I remember early on in Plexus that people shouting out things in me or telling me something that they saw in me was the belief that I carried to do this. When I didn't believe in myself and felt insignificant or like, who am I? But that girl over there, she believes in me. She actually thinks I can do this. And that would just take that with me. I'd love to close the call with hearing from you. What question was it? I think the third one. What can you work on that will help you serve people better? Or what is something you can shift that will help you serve your team this week, like right now? Love the comments in the chat. Yeah, listening, asking questions. I just wanted us to get really clear on what serving is and how it's foundational in leadership. A good, like everything in good leadership stems from how you serve others. Even if you don't know your own gifts very well, or can't think of them right now, even just diving deeper into that, what is your talent? What can you grow in? That's really good, Bethany. How do you want to feel on your way to achieving that goal? So good, so good. Thank you all so much for sharing, for being here, for doing this book study for us, with us, all of us together. I'm not even sure what I was saying there. Still reading comments. Thank you all so much. I'll see you on the next Zoom, and super, super grateful for all of you. Have a great night.
Thank you for great questions tonight, Sarah. Those were really good questions. Thanks for hosting.
No problem.
All right, bye.